Hello guys, and welcome to this week's lap guide for the LMP3 Championship. This week we're going to Watkins Glen, uh, the no chicane version, the classic boot. Caddy decided to scrap the normal boot version because the chicane is pretty dangerous, and yeah, I don't think it adds any fun in this car because a lot of people will just die because it's very difficult to take chicane in this car. So I think that's a good decision. This should be bring a lot better and closer racing, in my opinion. For this week, I'm gonna show you my first lap of the stint. I've asked in the Discord, and some people wanted to see this, and I think it's a really good idea because lap one is honestly more difficult than the later laps, of course, because you have a lot of understeer, your tires need to warm up, there's a lot of fuel in the car, and it affects this car a lot. So I'll show you the first lap of my stint. Like I did a couple first laps just with the active reset thingy. I did like 5-6 laps, and yeah, my best lap was a 1:37.640. I'll do the same as always. I'll just show you the raw lap first, and then I'll talk you through it via my iRacing. So here is the lap.
Sector 1 time is good.
That was your fastest lap of the session.
Alright, so that was the lap. I'll take you to my racing now and we'll have a look. Alright, here we go. So for T1, you are looking at the 300 board as your braking marker, maybe a little bit later, but yeah, especially in the first couple of laps. I just hold on to the 300. So you move on to the 300, yeah, brake a little bit later. It's a very heavy braking zone. It goes downhill a little bit, and you need to slow down a lot because yeah, the off track is looming on the outside, of course. So a lot of braking, and again, braking in a straight line, and then when you start turning in, you need to start easing off the brakes. So that's what I do here. A lot of trail braking, of course. And what you want to aim for is the low side of the curb. You don't really want to get your tire on the high side because it will bump you out a little bit. If you hit it, it's fine, but the perfect line is like basically just next to it. So yeah, I see you see me hitting it a little bit. That's fine, but you don't wanna go fully over it, basically. And if you hit that line perfectly, as you can see, like I'm almost full throttle, like mid apex, because of course the straight after this is super long. So you just want the best exit you can. And then on exit, try try to not turn your wheel too much. Like I know you want to because you want to make the corner, but the more you turn, the more understeer you generate. So just find your rhythm and find your steering inputs that just about lets you make the corner, because that's where you want to be, of course. And that's where you want to be is your right tires need to be on the curb. That's it. So as you see here, my right tires are on the curb, and you can just ride this all the way through. This car doesn't really bottom out on this curb, so it's fine to just keep riding the curb if you want to. You can also go off it if you want, it's fine. And then we come to the straight. Of course, not a lot of time to be gained here, but just one small simple thing you can do is just follow the apexes, pretend apexes that are here. So here you want to just touch this curb, nicely flow with it, and then you transition to the other curb. Also just brush it, it's fine. It's just the most mellow line with using the least amount of steering that you can. Here again, just follow the curb. And when the curb ends, you go to your racing line to the outside to prepare for the carousel. Shift point in this car, as you see on my raw lap, like I let it rev out a long time. My shift point is always, like I found that this is just the best for me. As soon as you hit 255 kph, like if you're on miles per hour, I don't know what it is, you'd have to calculate it. But as soon as you hit 255, you switch to 6th gear. You see I even drop a kph again, but it's just necessary because otherwise you just can't get the extra speed out of it. Here we come to the carousel. Of course, the carousel is a lot harder in this configuration than with the chicane because you just come in a lot faster. Pretty easy braking point. Let me see where it is. Here you see this sort of other colored concrete. That's basically my braking point. Just a little bit before. Not a lot of braking, just like 30-35% at max, because the only thing you want to do is just slow down a little bit, but you want to get the weight into the nose so that the front actually grips up a little bit, and then you just full attack the inside of the curb like that. I'm just all the way over it. And another very positive thing that I've learned about using this curb this much is that it actually saves a lot of tire wear on your right tires if you do this, because you're just not scrubbing it on the asphalt. And as you can see here, like I'm still trail braking a little bit, and basically my throttle point is if my line is correct when the double curb ends and the grass starts, is basically when you start throttling. Maybe just a little bit later, but you have to find that out for yourself, where your optimal throttle point is, but that's about it. That's your marker, basically. Instantly full throttle. You'll notice a lot of understeer here in the first couple of laps, but yeah, it is just how it is. This is definitely one of the hardest corners of this track because there's a very distinct lack of braking markers here. And it goes downhill and it's a semi-fast corner, so it is pretty hard. I don't have a braking point for this. For me, this is all just feeling, but as you see here, there is like a little shadow here on the road, but yeah, I don't know if that's gonna be there in the race. So I'm sorry, but you kind of have to figure this out for yourself, because I just really don't have a braking marker for this. So a downhill corner, so pretty heavy braking, but not super heavy because it's a pretty fast corner still. Braking just above the 50%, and then you instantly start trailing off the brakes because you need a lot of front grip here, a lot of trail braking, and then it's again playing the waiting game with your throttle and just finding your throttle point. Like the thing most people lose time with is that they just want to go too early on throttle. And if you throttle and you have to lift back off the throttle because you're not making the corner and then you reapply the throttle, you just lose so much time. So you just need to search for the right throttle point. Even it's better to delay it a little bit so that you absolutely make sure that you can throttle at once, because over a race distance that will save you a lot more time than being super on the limit, because if you have to lift off a couple times you just easily lose like a tenth, 2/10, just super easily done. This corner is, especially in the first couple laps, super understeery as well. Like you think you'll make it easily and then the car just doesn't turn mid corner, so you need to wait pretty long here. But as you see, I'm super confident, just applying the throttle and then instantly going to 100% because I just know that I'm gonna make it. But you see here, like it looks so easy to make, but and yeah, at the end, yeah, the car just starts understeering. So there you just use all the track. This next one, pretty difficult corner as well. My brake marker is the 200 board. Again, don't try to brake too late, because your exit traction is all that matters here. That's the reason I used third gear here as well. You can choose to use second, it works. It can be faster, but you'll lose a lot more traction if you don't do it correctly. And third gear is just, you just slam the throttle and you just know the car is gonna go. So that's definitely the easier option. So as you see here, 2 boards is my brake marker. Pretty heavy braking zone. Start lifting off the brakes. A lot of trail braking. And you want a late apex. So you don't want to be, your apex should be like around here. Like here you just need to leave a little bit of space. And you just go around until the corner is actually more than halfway through, and then you want to apex. And here again, this is one of my plateau throttle moments. Just applying that 75-80% throttle to get around the corner, and then it's just waiting until you can, until you know you can reach that 100% mark, and then it's just bomb go. And this is like, especially in the early laps, this is it's a pretty easy corner because yes, it's understeery, but you also have a lot of grip on your rear tires. So this corner is in the beginning actually probably quite a bit easier than later in the race, because you will probably notice some traction issues because your rears are getting warm and worn. So for the slower corners, actually the first lap is a bit easier, I'd say. Next corner, it's actually quite a bit of the same philosophy as the last corner. The only difference is this is going downhill instead of uphill, so you can brake a lot harder here. The brake marker is the 200 board. Like you can't see it's the 200 board, but it is. Like just this hidden Zippo board here, it's your braking marker. Again, you don't want to brake too late because you want a good exit. So you want to brake at the 200. As you see here, because it's downhill, I can reach like 85-90% brakes. Braking in a straight line, of course, then you trail off the brakes. hit the inside apex. Maybe I hit it a little bit too much. Like you want to keep it on the lower side a little bit, but this is fine. And then on exit, like you can throttle super early because, of course, with the new Watkins rescan, this is all racetrack. There is no 1x here, so use it. You know, it's there for you, so you can just use it. Just make sure you get back on track before the grass, and you are fine. This corner, pretty tough one as well because it's uphill. It's very traction limited. It's probably going to be the corner where you can spin under the brakes because it's uphill and a very tight corner, so the car gets pretty loose. Here again, I have no brake marker. This is for me, it's a feeling thing as well. You might want to look out for like some sort of trace on the road here, but for me it's just pure feeling. What I do is I like to keep this corner very open. A lot of people attack it immediately on the inside. That's a bit safer, I think. But if you do it my way, you can have a little bit more exit speed because the car just straightens up earlier. So you see here, braking is not that hard, 65% in a straight line. And then when you turn in, you start trailing off the brakes. I make sure, like, yeah, you want to apex. Like when you're actually at the bend, you don't want to apex before because you'll just make it a lot more difficult for you. At first I thought you couldn't really use this curb, but I've experimented a little bit, of course, and I can just full on take it. It's fine. I'm not losing traction. And that's also because in this corner again, you can use second gear. I choose for third because it is just so much more easy. You can just hammer the throttle down and the car will not step out on you. It's a bit more understeery, of course, so you have to watch out for that. But I would definitely advise you to use third gear. So again, a throttle plateau until I'm sure I can actually make the corner and the front tires grip up, and then you go to 100%. It's yeah, it is by nature a very understeery corner, so you just have to figure that out what the limit of the exit is. If you want to like be on the curb here, but if you touch the grass, it's very slippery and you can spin out into this wall, so just be careful for that. This next corner, I actually don't know what I do here. You can take it flat, but I would suggest, because it doesn't really matter speed wise, because if you go flat, you go out wide pretty hard. If you do like a micro lift of like 5-10%, the front tires just bite a little bit more. You will get a lot less tire wear in the race, especially because this is a 75-minute race. It might be a good idea to just lift a little bit here and just let the car do the work instead of you trying to counter steer it in. I think I micro lift here a little bit. Yeah, I do. Like this is perfect. You just need a lot less steering input and you're not fighting the car as much, so it's a huge plus for your tire wear if you do this. And then you just go back full throttle. Because you can, like, you need to keep your left tires on the curb here to not get a 1x, so I'm not using all the track by any means. But for me, this is just easier, and it's easier to make the next corner because you want to go all the way to the left for the last corner, of course. And if you're there, then your weight transfer ratio is just off, and it's a lot harder to get the last corner correct as well. So I would definitely advise doing this. And last corner, brake marker is when, yeah, basically when the safety tech pro stuff, tire, wall, whatever, stops. You can use that, or I use this brown spot in the grass here. It's for me, it's easier to see, but yeah, you can choose both because they are on the same line almost. That's where you start braking. Again, this is downhill, so but you don't have to brake super hard because you want to take quite a bit of speed into this corner. You shift down one gear to fourth. You attack the inside. Like this is fine. Like this curb usage is fine, but you don't want to go too far because that will just bounce you out. So like half a tire on the curb is absolutely fine. And then again, it's just finding your throttle point, just building up your throttle point so that you don't slam in the wall on exit. That's it. I actually left quite a bit of space here, but yeah, just wanted to be safe. But just find your throttle point and get as close to the wall as you dare, but don't go too far because your car will be damaged and the race will be shitty for the rest. And that is the lap around Watkins Glen Classic Boots. Show you the lap in chase cam. Not gonna talk over this, you can just watch it. All right, and that was it. I hope you guys have a good race on Sunday. I'm probably not gonna be making it because I have a lot of stuff to do on Sunday, but I might. So I don't know yet. But you guys have a good race. Keep it clean and give it your best. See you later, guys.